Blues Brothers 2000 is a platformer released for the Nintendo 64 by Titus, Titties, however the fuck you say their name, in 2000. It is loosely based on the movie of the same name, though due to delays it was released 2 years after the film, but takes place in the same year it was released. Oof. It is the cheesy corniness you would come to expect from 3D platformers of the era. Not every game can be a Gex or a Banjo. Sometimes you just end up with a slightly polished turd. The true suffering I had to experience with this game honestly had to do with the lack of originality. The sound effects seem generic, and the collecting the musical notes just made me want to play a good game like Banjo-Kazooie. The game follows the misadventures of the band as you play as Elwood and start in prison. Seems to be where they put all the best blues artists. They just can't have you infecting the minds with such groovy tunes, man. You are expected to find keys and defeat prison guards to rescue Cab the guitarist, because in less than 2 days the Battle of the Bands takes place, and oh my god, the story is cringe. After you defeat the warden, you progress through Chicago, rooftops, a club, graveyard, and a swamp, even fighting an evil tree along the way. Generic is the best that can be said about this fucking game. Now, as a musician myself, I expected to be bombarded with neat references to music theory and artists of old, but honestly, there really wasn't much of that at all. I kind of feel like the developers really had no musical training or depth of the medium. This can be heard through the sound effects, which by all definitions are just bad. Like, they just grabbed the most used and played out samples to put into the game, meaning a grating experience that surpasses even the Talon Trot in Banjo-Kazooie. At least you can find yourself having a good time in that game and awaken a sense of adventure and curiosity as you earn each jiggy along the way. In this game there is none of that wonder. It is simply a quick cash in that came too late to even capitalize on that movie. The controls are not that bad, all things considered. The puzzles they have are easily solvable, and the game leaves much to be desired in terms of imagination. I can't imagine anyone struggling to figure out what to do. What I can see people struggling with is the hit detection. It is insanely easy for enemies to attack and hit you, and many bosses are just ridiculous in that you can barely dodge their attacks as you attack them, making progression a little tricky. And I know the year was 2000 and it was a different time, but requiring a memory pack to save your game and start all over is kinda bullshit when you have a cartridge. The cost to throw in some cheap ass RAM and a battery can't be that damn much, although I'm sure the devs knew this game was not gonna be worth the expenses in the end. Maybe I'm being too rough on this game, or maybe they should have tried harder to make a decent fucking game. I've played a lot of awful games for this series, and most frustrating thing about this turd is actually criticizing it. It does the bare minimum to get things done the worst way possible. I feel bad for Player One Games because they obviously were not prepared for this game, and now it is in their legacy catalog. But I know inevitably there are gonna be people who love this game, and to them I have to ask you to get some fucking help, seriously. I want to thank Ultimate Space Ghost for suggesting this game to play. I will leave a link in the description to his channel. But fucking around to the side, what do you guys think? Is this game really that bad? Or is it just cheesy as some schlock horror bullshit? Maybe it's just mediocre, and I sure suffered from the fucking boredom I got playing this shit. Not quite the crucifixion I was looking for though. Remember, every Sunday we suffer together, and until then, remember to take your meds and try to stay sane in this fucked up world. Until next time, stay nerdy.